Welcome to Act Two. In this podcast, we focus on coming alongside women as they navigate the messy, mundane, and marvelous moments of their journey. Whether it's dirty diapers, moody teenagers, demanding careers, eating cookies in the closet while crying, or finding the courage to live out your purpose, this podcast is for you. If you are facing your own Act Two, Act Three, or Four, or if you've lost count, we want to help you laugh your way through it while learning who is in control and who sees your next step. And who knows, together, we may learn how to stumble up the back steps and walk confidently out the front door.
Hey, this is Tecia Janes along with co-host Andra Pape, and welcome to the first episode of Act Two. The name of our podcast is Act Two. How did we come up with that, and what do we want them to get out of this as they listen to our stories?
Okay, so yeah, so both Tecia and I have known each other for a while. In fact, let's just go ahead and explain how we know each other, because I think that people really would want to know that right off the bat.
Okay.
So Tecia and I met years ago while teaching, and kind of had a very close working relationship at school. Like our positions kind of bounced off each other, and we carried that friendship outside of the office, and just developed a really close friendship. We had girls who were the same age, and they actually became very close as well. So it's just kind of blossomed from there. So it's been great. We've walked each other through some really crazy moments of our own lives and our own journeys. And I guess that's really just how this kind of developed. We both are, in our own, we named this podcast Act Two, and based it off of the fact that everyone goes through different acts, and you have your Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and what does that look like, the next steps in your own personal journey. And we wanted to make a podcast, especially for women. I mean, men can listen to this too, but especially for women, that they just understand that, life isn't stagnant. Life ebbs and flows, and you may have something that happens that changes the complete course of your life and your world, and that's okay, because God is going to be there with you. And if you're blessed and lucky enough, you're going to have those friends that carry you and walk beside you through those next steps. So Tecia, I would love to hear your input too.
No, you've said it beautifully. I mean, we both have walked through and seen each other walk through many different acts. And I think that's where we came across the word act two, because we both have lived through defining moments in our life that we had to look at each other and go, what now? Or what do we do now? Whether it's all different seasons, from our kids to spouses to loss to family. And there's been many times we've looked at each other and like, okay, I'm this age, this has happened, what now? And the more we talk to women, the more we realize everybody at some point, actually maybe every day, is looking at, okay, this is Act Two.
Absolutely.
Or maybe 3 or 4. Who knows what we're all at, but every woman faces that. And a lot of times, especially middle age, which is, unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at right
now.
We're there. And like for us, we have girls that are graduating next year. They're starting their senior year, and it's our babies. What do we do? What does life look like for us personally? And that's challenging. I mean, you have your stepson coming up, but still with the girls, they maintain a lot of more time.
Right. And we don't have Haynes full time. So he's only here on the weekends and stuff like that. So it's going to be an empty nester house. I will crave those weekends when we have Haynes come and visit, because it'll be no one here besides Ryan and I staring at each other going, what do we do now? Like, we don't have game night at night. We don't have, this or that, or, practice to go watch or pick up kids from. And it's just maybe a different season altogether.
Yeah. And you and I both have even looked at each other and been like, okay, what does this look like for the purpose in our life? We're both, either one of us are going to sit here and put flour all over our face and cook every day and, have everything like Martha Stewart. We
Right.
we desire something, not to put that down. I don't mean that, but we both desire something that's purposeful in our lives. And everyone does, whether it's serving your family or whether it's working in a job or a ministry. And a lot of
Well,
times
right.
to this age, and you're like, how do I even begin that? How do I find that?
Right, because that is the reality. We are moving out of the flour on your face stage where, you are baking those cookies for your, child's Valentine's Day party. You're doing all of those things that are wonderful and purposeful in that season. And when you have to transition out of that to, I don't need to be making cookies for myself. Like, nobody needs that kind of temptation sitting in their kitchen. Like, I need to get away from that. And so, yeah, you're right. It is. And it's not to put down one season or the other. It's just each season is different. And each season is going to bring completely new challenges. And honestly, if we could sum it up in just one thing, is that is what Act Two is about, is facing those challenges and seeing what beauty comes out of the new direction that your life is going in. And just to kind of tie that into your ministry, Tecia, is Choosing Him Ministries. And I would love for you just to kind of tell our listeners what that's about, because honestly, it ties in with this podcast so well.
Yeah. Yeah. So Andra writes for Choosing Him. I founded Choosing Him Ministries several years ago, but it did come out of a season of huge transition. We lost my father at 18 in a very tragic accident. Our family literally had this work going smoothly. Everything seemed to be what you would expect, just sweet, no problem family. And then this happened, and I watched my mother hit an Act Two that was not expected. And how, oh my goodness, that was so hard for her with three young
Right.
daughters. And she was faced with a new season. I was going to college. I was faced with moving out of the house. So many things that just kind of culminated from that. And really, Choosing Him came from my spiritual journey of walking that Act Two. What do I do with my life? But more importantly, is what do I believe? And, we talk often
Right.
about, what do we want to do next? And Choosing Him really helps us flip that. And who do I want to be? And
Right.
that comes from, we all have a choice. And we either choose to try to control things and be who society tells us to be and what we should look like, or we choose to believe who God says He is and that He will do what He says He will do, and His will and purpose for our own life as well. And so choosing Him is very profound in my life, because I was at a crossroads. You know, actually, I've been at many crossroads throughout my life. But it's who am I going to choose to believe and lean on and to guide me? And whether it's Act 2, 3, 4, or 5, it is my choice. And for me personally, for our ministry, I have chosen to follow God and to lean into Him very intently, and sometimes even for my next breath. And so that's
Right.
what we hope in this, starting with Choosing Him and with Act Two, is that we can encourage you in your next step, um, as we walk it along with you, because none of us know what tomorrow holds, and
Exactly.
all moving into new seasons every day. So
Absolutely. And I just encourage anyone who's listening to this to go to Ticia's website. It's choosinghimministries.org
it is.
or .org. She has, they release blogs frequently, and it's other women writing about things but again, we're all going through, and just ways that we can come along each other and encourage each other in Christ to meet those challenges. So I really do encourage you to go to her website and check it out, because it has a lot of really great resources.
Yeah. Including, we send out, for those that subscribe to the website, we send out prayers each week praying over you. And there's also a place where you can send in your prayer request, and our team will be praying over you as well. Andra's a great writer for our ministry. We've got some just
Mhm.
really solid writers that are make you laugh, make you cry, and then others are like, "That's me. That's where I'm at right now." And so I'm just
Mhm.
been very blessed. All of us have by each other and walking this journey together. So
Absolutely. And when she was saying the thing about prayers, they have some amazing prayer warriors who, so oftentimes you send that prayer request out into cyberspace and just kind of hope for the best. But you don't know if it's going to reach the right person or if it's truly going to be prayed over. These women genuinely are getting on their knees for you specifically, praying specifically for what you have sent. And that to me is huge. If a lot of times with crossroads and journeys, you find yourself sometimes in between friend groups or in between, areas where you just don't necessarily have someone you can just lay your heart out. And so what better way to do that than a person who you've never met and you're not ever going to have to like explain yourself. So just
right,
send that prayer request there and just know genuinely they are truly on their knees for you. So
for sure.
sorry, that's just my little spiel for
Your little
your
spill. Well,
website.
it's important, and that's because often in our next act, our next season, we feel very alone, especially when we're just trying to figure out what we're going to do next or who we're going to be. But often, I'll just show you. This is where we feel like we are. We're like, well, what do I do? And our page is blank. But
Right.
I hope through our podcast that we can encourage you that it's okay if it's blank, because that
Mhm.
is just creates a huge opportunity for God to rewrite your story, or to continue, not to rewrite, because all of our stories create who we are at this moment, but to take your story and to just make it so beautiful of what's next. And we
Give
all
it purpose.
great. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So,
Absolutely. It's so good. So I think, Tecia, I think we've kind of like covered all of our stuff that we need to talk to our people about. Do you have anything to add?
no, not at this time. I think I hope that this has given an overview of what we're kind of looking for, and people can be encouraged um, of what's coming next. We've got some great women that are in
Yes.
this next season and this next act, and just their faithfulness to lean into God and to see what God is showing them. And sometimes it's just moment by moment. It's not like, all of a sudden he gives you your next order and it's your change order, what's going to happen from A to Z, but just the faithfulness walk of day to day. And I'm excited to hear what they have to say, for them to share their journey with us, and to encourage us along with everyone that's listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as this kind of, develops, we want it to be a more organic process. So we'll be adding things and giving you guys more references as we go forward. But we're just so excited that you are with us on this journey. And we cannot wait to show you that you are not alone in your life, that God is with you, and that other women can look at your story and say, you know what? I've been there, and this is how I got through it. This is what I did to help myself. So, anyway, that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen for us for Act Two, by Choosing Him Ministries. You can find us on the web at choosinghimministries.org as well. And we hope to see you next time.
Great. Bye, you guys.
Bye bye.